Welcome back to Hotties with the Plotties. My name's Tasha.
And I'm Daniqua.
Today we are bringing you another juicy plot with our two sons mixed in.
Mm-hmm.
So mostly we focus on books, but sometimes we also cover TV shows, movies, any other stories.
Really anything we want to do.
Anything we want, pretty much, yeah. Daniqua is giving us her thoughts on The Housemaid by Frieda McFadden.
Indeed. I'm really excited about this one.
Yeah, I'm excited. This is a very popular book series because there's 2 or 3 of them.
I think it's 3.
Okay.
And I plan on reading the rest of them too.
Okay, cool.
But before we get into this juicy plot,
yes,
here's our disclaimer that listening to us is not a replacement for reading the book. In fact, we encourage you to read the book and read it either before listening to us or after listening to us. That way you can enhance your overall experience with the story. Under fair use, we will be summarizing and giving you our commentary. But as we do, bear in mind that it is always easier to criticize something than it is to create something. So no matter our thoughts, we encourage you to experience these stories for yourself. All right, so we're going to get right into it.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Before we get too deep into it, can you tell me what some of your, what are you coming into this knowing already about The Housemaid?
I am part of a lot of book groups on Facebook, and this one is just really popular. I always see the cover popping up. I have no context of what the plot is about. Obviously, there's a housemaid involved, probably a rich white woman, I'm assuming, or a woman of some wealth.
I mean, if you're hiring a housemaid.
Exactly. Well, I mean, and is it a live-in housemaid? I don't even know. I don't know anything about
You don't know anything? So. That's so exciting.
Yeah. It could just be a housemaid that comes and cleans, because that's not that expensive, right?
I don't know what the difference is.
Middle-class people do that, I feel like.
A maid versus a housemaid versus, what are all, I don't know if there's technicalities.
A housemaid makes me think of, I know that's not what it is, but it makes me think of, a lady's maid from, Regency time.
Yeah, I'm going on a trip across the ocean, and you're also going to join me and, take
You're my
luggage.
companion.
Yeah, my companion.
But also you have to do what I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I low-key would love to be, a paid companion. I think I'd be really good at it.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like a nanny, but for a grown person.
Yeah, for a grown person.
Not for children.
Okay, yeah.
I just I will keep you company as you jet off across the world.
I'll have some nice quips for you when you get on my nerves. I'll put some sleepy time medicine in your tea. Yeah.
Is that what this housemaid is gonna do?
I don't know. I don't know what anybody's gonna do.
Okay. I don't have a whole lot of context. Again, I'm not super into the mystery novels. But I just know these are super popular.
Yes.
And there's going to be a movie.
There's going to be a movie.
With Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried.
Yes, you're so good at the names.
Yes.
I think it's coming out next year at the end of 2025.
Okay.
So I plan on I hope I finish the series by then. So far, I've only read the first one.
Yeah. Wait, is the movie going to be all of them?
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's going to be just the first one. They like to milk franchises.
Yeah.
So some of the books might even get split up into 2. Who knows?
Okay. All right.
So this book starts with a prologue, and I love that.
Okay.
I love it when a book gives you a little appetizer book first. We don't know whose perspective the prologue is from, so they're being mysterious about that.
Okay.
All you know is that the person who's in the prologue is talking to a police officer about something that has happened inside the house. And the person whose perspective it's from is thinking to themselves, oh no, they're going to arrest me once they find out what's upstairs.
I'm already stressed out.
You're what is upstairs?
Okay.
So a lot of mystery there. We don't know whose perspective the prologue is from. We don't know what's upstairs. We don't know why police are here.
Okay.
But the person whose perspective it's from is in distress about it.
All right. Okay.
Then we cut to chapter 1. And we have Millie. That's our main character, Millie.
I feel like we've had a Millie in a different book, but maybe I'm making that up.
Millie to me sounds like the name of a cow.
Yes. But also, Millie was a character in one of the only thriller books I have read remotely recently. It was called Behind Closed Doors.
Oh my goodness, I think I've read that one.
Yeah, and Millie was the sister.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. That's why I thought we had done this. We haven't done this.
Maybe in the future for another season, we should genre switch.
Yeah.
And then you'll do a review for a thriller, and I'll do my review for a romance. Yeah.
I like that. Let's do it.
Okay, so we have Millie, and she is interviewing for a housemaid job with a woman named Nina Winchester.
Nina is rich.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Nina.
that name alone.
You can tell.
Nina Winchester.
Winchester? Like, come on.
Okay.
Nina has a slightly chubby build with super chic clothes, and like she has a really hip bob haircut. Like it's the type of bob haircut that you know she gets refreshed very often. Right. She keeps it like clean. Yes. She's got really clean cut clothes. Snatched. Okay. The book does mention her build, just to remind you. Like she's I think slightly shorter than Millie, and she's a bit chubby.
Okay. This I assume will be important at some point, but we'll see.
It's mentioned. Okay. Maybe everything mentioned important, maybe nothing else. I don't know. Her home is very expensive. Okay. As is her lifestyle.
Of course it is.
Yes.
Her name is Nina Winchester.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Nina doesn't think that she'll get the job due to her... Oh, I'm sorry, not Nina. Millie. Millie doesn't think that she'll get the job due to her felony background.
Oh, shit.
And they don't tell you a lot about... They don't tell you what Millie did until like way later into the book. Okay. They let you know.
Maybe it was one of those felonies that she like protested on the wrong street. Right. You know? Like, yeah, maybe it wasn't like an actual felony.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe she like sent an MLM through the mail. Like...
Oh my gosh.
What is it? That's a crime, right? I don't know.
I mean, it's apparently not a crime to just
out
and about, but
the like chain letters.
Yeah,
crime, right?
Send this to 10 people, or is it a crime?
Because I think you can get charged with like mail fraud or something for that. Like you're not supposed to do that. Okay. Anyway.
Well, Millie has a felony.
Okay.
And she's worried. She's like, I'm not going to get this job. Once Nina does her background check, like, she's going to see I'm a felon, and then I'm not going to get this job. Millie spent the last 10 years of her life in jail.
Damn.
So it probably wasn't the mail thing.
She just got out. Okay. Probably wasn't the mail thing.
She hasn't mentioned this on her fraudulent resume. Okay. She doctored up a resume for Nina, but she assumes that Nina will find out through the background check about her felony anyways.
So then why are we lying on our resume? Okay.
I'm kind of not hating on her too much for that part because like
I don't hate on her for the fact of like lying on the resume, but if you know she's just going to do a background check,
then why are we playing
that's a waste of time. Yeah, but okay. All
right. During the interview, Nina explains that she would need Millie to cook, clean, help out with her 9-year-old daughter, whose name is Cecilia.
Okay, so this is more of like a nanny situation.
It's in everything. She needs her to be ready to do anything else that she needs. Like if I need you to be a secretary, you're going to be a secretary.
Okay, so Millie is a lady's maid for the modern age.
Basically,
We're just calling her a housemaid.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nina shows her around the giant house, which has a movie theater, like several living rooms. Okay. It's a big home, luxurious home. It's got guest bedrooms.
All right.
Then she shows Millie upstairs to the very small attic. It's a finished attic, though.
Okay.
Which is where Millie would be living if she got the job. Not in one of the luxurious like guest bedrooms.
What? Okay. All right. We don't have to do this because we know nobody is up in that house with Nina and her daughter. So like you can just give her a bedroom.
Right?
Okay.
Right?
All right.
She's got several. A movie theater, multiple living rooms, but she takes her upstairs to this really small attic that happens to be like a little finished attic, and she's like, oh, and this is where you would stay if you got the job.
Yeah. All right, Nina. I'm already like not impressed, but we'll see.
Millie is impressed because Millie has been living out of her car.
Oh, fair.
So she's like, well, this is better than that. Yeah.
Okay.
So this job would provide housing and it would provide income for her if she gets it. So to Millie, she's like, this would be a dream.
To be fair, it does not sound like a terrible gig.
Yeah.
You know,
it's not the worst. Yeah. Like you're taking care of a 9-year-old, you're cooking, you're cleaning.
You get to live in a dope house.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a small bedroom, but like,
exactly. It's not free. That bad.
So, hey.
However, something about that attic room gives Millie the creeps, and she can't quite put her finger on like what it is, but something about it.
I mean, you're shoving her up in the attic when you got all these
There are
rooms,
a lot of things about it that would have given me the creeps. There's one small window that looks out into the backyard, and the author emphasizes how no one would be able to see her scream for help.
I feel like we didn't have to say that, but okay.
Yeah, like the author is already dropping these like, I don't even know if it's crumbs. It's like snacks. But there's something else about the room as well, and she can't put her finger on it. So like there's the creepy small window that only looks out into the backyard, and then there's something else about the room that's really creeping Millie out.
Okay.
She doesn't know what it is yet.
Okay.
During the interview, Millie also meets her daughter, Cecilia, who goes by Cece.
Okay.
Who is very pale, with very pale blue eyes and really pale blonde hair. She's a very pale child.
Okay.
She is described as being like a creepy horror movie child.
All right. Got it.
Mm-hmm. Millie doesn't think she'll get the job, but she remains positive as she leaves the house.
Mm-hmm.
She sees the gardener on the way out, but he doesn't speak to her. He just gives her like this spooky look where he like subtly shakes his head no. He's like, get out of here.
Even before you said that, I was like, oh, it was like the gardener and Get Out, right?
Yeah, it's those vibes. Like as she's leaving the house, he's like, no. It's very kind of cliche horror movie. They do also mention how the gardener is really hot.
Okay. All right.
A week later, Millie gets a call that she got the job.
Good for Millie.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's going to be a great choice for her.
Of course, that's why there's a whole book about it, because it's a great choice.
Right. It's going to work out great.
She's super stoked about it, to have housing and income, so she's really excited.
Fair.
When she arrives at the house, she meets the gardener again, and again, he's super handsome, and he only speaks Italian. His name is Enzo.
Okay.
And he spookily tells her, Pericolo. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Pericolo. Pericolo.
Okay.
Pericolo. And of course, I Googled it immediately.
Of course.
I was like, I'm not waiting for the foreshadowing. I looked it up immediately. Which Millie, she doesn't know the meaning of because she doesn't speak Italian.
And she doesn't have a smartphone?
Well, later on.
Okay.
Oh, well, at this point in time, actually, I think she doesn't because she just got out of jail.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
Millie also meets Nina's husband.
Oh.
Right? You didn't know she had a husband, huh? I don't think Millie really knew either. She meets him at the house, too. His name is Andrew. And he's also very handsome.
Of course he is.
The author emphasizes several times how both the husband and the gardener are very handsome men.
Okay.
Apparently he shakes Millie's hand like a second too long because Nina gets this like shrewd look in her eye. Okay. So we're already starting with those vibes. Okay, like he greets her like, "Oh, we have a new housemaid." He like shakes her hand. Apparently the handshake lingers.
Okay. But like, is Nina cute? Do we know?
The author just describes her as being very chic, but also a little bit dowdy.
Not Nina.
Millie. Oh, Millie.
Is Millie cute?
So I do not remember the book heavily describing Millie.
Okay.
And I wonder if that's because they want you to be Millie, like they want you to put yourself in her shoes. Like they don't say like, "Oh, Millie is really attractive." They just tell you like, I get the impression she's like just an average woman.
Okay. All right.
Like average build sort of thing. I think they want her to be like a self-insert for you a little bit. Like imagine this is you in this situation.
Got it. Okay. All right.
But Nina gets this look in her eye that's like, shaking my husband's hand a second too long.
You could have gotten a male housemaid if this was going to be an issue for you.
It also took her a whole week to call Millie back. So I'm like, what were you doing in that week?
Setting up booby traps.
So Nina also tells Millie that she should wear her glasses more often. Oh, I forgot to bring that up earlier. During the interview, Millie wore fake glasses.
Okay.
She wanted them to make her look like smart and capable and also like unassuming.
All right, go off, Millie.
Yeah. And Nina apparently assessed this information during the interview. But when Millie showed up for the job, Millie looks a little bit different than she did in the interview. She's wearing like nicer clothes. She's not wearing the glasses. And Nina is like, you don't look the way you did during the interview. And like my man is around to wear those glasses.
Yeah. Put them glasses on, they make you ugly.
Which is a wild accusation.
That's crazy. Okay.
This seems like an attempt to make Millie less attractive. That's the way it's posed in the book, to be like, oh, my husband's around. Millie notes how Andrew is more attractive than Nina is. Like Andrew apparently is very, very handsome. And the book reminds you that like Nina does not seem to be as attractive as Andrew is, which is an uncommon pairing for rich men.
It very much is. Yes.
And the book kind of hints that Millie is getting this idea in her head that's like, I wonder why he's with her, sort of vibes. When Millie gets to her attic room, she finally realizes what was bothering her about the room. The door only locks from the outside.
Girl. Get your ass out of that house. Find another job.
Because what kind of attic only locks from the outside?
And why? Why do you need that?
Nina says that this is because this room it used to be for storage. I don't know how that don't make no fucking sense. Yeah, what kind of storage needs to be locked away? When Millie asks for a key,
Is it like a deadbolt or is it like a latch?
I think it's like a latch.
Okay.
I think it's like
we don't need that for storage,
right? Sure don't. Sure don't. Right. Then Millie asks her for a key to the room. She's like, well, fine. If my room's going to have like a lock on the outside, can I at least have a key to it? And then Nina gets really, really serious and weird and is like, why? What you trying to hide up here?
No. And why are you trying to lock me in this creepy attic room at night when you have 4 guest bedrooms?
Mm-hmm. And then right after she asks her that, she immediately switches her personalities again. And she's like, ha, JK, of course I'll get you a key. And that's like a common thread for Nina. She'll go back and forth between like being really serious and then like, oh, I'm just joking. Mm-hmm. Millie realizes that she needs to tread lightly with this woman. She doesn't want to mess up her situation. And she's like, okay, this woman already thinks I'm trying to steal her man.
Yeah.
She's being weird about me getting a key to the lock. Let me just like lay low and play this job out.
I feel like this situation is already messed up, but that's just me.
See, but the reason I already started liking this book more than The Inmate, which we covered before, also by Frieda McFadden, is because with Millie's character, there's a reason for why she's putting up with what she's putting up.
She doesn't have a lot of options.
She doesn't have a lot of options. She just got out of jail. Right. Like it's like you can rationalize it as you're reading, like, fine, that's why she's putting up with it. Nina gave Millie an iPhone so that she would be like have reliable communication for all of Nina's wants. So now she has a smartphone.
Okay.
Nina leaves and Millie looks up the meaning of petticolo.
Yeah, that's the first thing I would do.
She's like, what does that mean?
100%.
And she finds out that it means danger.
Huh.
Gasp.
Okay.
I think it's
okay.
I think it's similar to the Spanish word for danger too.
Yeah, like perilous. Yeah. Something, yeah.
Millie begins her job cleaning up Nina's spectacularly dirty house. During the interview, which was, again, only a week ago, during the interview, Nina's house was like spotless. But then a week later, when she shows up to do the job, she talks about how like filth, like it looks filthier than like everyday wear and tear. There's like pizza boxes everywhere. It's like actively dirty.
Weird. Okay.
Yes. So Cecilia, wanders into the kitchen wanting a snack. So Millie makes her some like peanut butter crackers, and then Cece's eyes.
I love a peanut butter cracker.
Doesn't it sound delicious? Okay. I think it's because we've been talking about peanut butter a lot lately.
Yeah.
Making like the peanut butter and jelly cookies.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
So she makes her these peanut butter crackers, and then Cece's eyes get really, really big and widen, and she's like, I'm allergic to peanut butter. You're trying to kill me.
Then why the fuck is it in the house?
That's a great question. And she like runs upstairs immediately to like tell her mom that the new maid is trying to kill her. She's like, Mom, Millie is trying to kill me. She tried to give me peanut butter.
Okay. And I thought Cece was going to be like, all right, but I don't fuck with her.
That's exactly how I felt at the beginning too.
Cool.
Millie explains that she didn't know about the allergy, but Nina claims to have told her, even though she didn't.
Oh, so now we're gaslighting. Awesome.
That's also a common thread. Nina's like, I told you that my daughter is deathly allergic to peanut butter. And Millie's like, she's trying not to be like combative, but in her mind, she's like, you didn't, but okay.
Okay.
Millie apologizes and she asks, she's like, should I throw it away then? Like, should I throw away this evil peanut butter that's like very prominent on the shelf? It's like on the front of the shelf. And Nina says, no, they might need it.
For what? Okay.
There's a person in the house who's like deathly allergic.
Why is this in your house?
This felt like a trap, low-key. It's super weird for a home with like a hyper allergic child to keep that allergen in the house.
That's very dangerous. Like even the most vigilant parents or caretakers or the kid themselves can mess up. If the allergy is that bad, it shouldn't be in the house.
Especially with it being like on the front of the shelf.
Yeah.
Cecilia definitely has like weird vibes at this point.
Yeah,
that's kind of what you're supposed to gather. Millie soon finds out the downside to this job, in case you haven't already picked up on it.
Okay.
Nina is bananas.
Oh, we didn't gather that enough. Okay.
I call what she does like psychological mind games. She'll do like the weirdest things to inconvenience Millie.
Okay.
Once, she calls Millie and tells her that she needs her to pick up Cece from Winter Academy in 15 minutes. She like calls her on the iPhone. She's like, I need you to go get Cece from Winter Academy in 15 minutes. And once Millie agrees, she like hangs up immediately and then becomes unreachable. Like Millie calls her back. She's not answering.
Okay.
This is a problem because Millie can't find any schools named Winter Academy.
I cannot.
Thanks to something like a paper thing of Cece's being on the fridge, she figures out that her school is actually called Windsor Academy.
Okay.
So Cece like left homework or something on the fridge, and that's how she finds out. So when she finally like zooms through traffic and makes it to the school to pick her up, Cece is like, "You're not picking me up. I'm going to karate with my friend, and her mom is taking us." And at that moment, the friend's mom, Rachel, comes to like pick up the girls. And Millie is like, "No, I'm supposed to take Cece home." So Rachel, the friend's mom, she's like, "Well, we'll just settle this. I'll call Nina." So she calls Nina. Nina picks up.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm. And she tells Nina of the situation. And Nina confirms that Rachel is supposed to be picking up the girls. So then Millie texts Nina herself, and Nina's like, "Yes, Rachel is picking up Cece today. Why on earth would you think I wanted you to pick her up?"
Okay, so I need every instruction from you in writing from this point forward. Okay.
To which I immediately burst out laughing because that's absolutely cuckoo bananas of this woman. Like, why would you play these games? And you could tell it was like on purpose because she's like, "Pick her up in 15 minutes from this school that doesn't exist." Click, does not answer her phone. But then immediately answers it when Rachel picks up.
Wow. Okay.
I bet she probably didn't even expect Millie to like make it to
the
school.
Right. Yes. This is like Miranda Priestley if she was like an actual sadist.
Oh,
Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, got you. Yes, I agree. And then there's another time when Nina like comes downstairs and Millie comes downstairs and she finds Nina throwing food all over the kitchen. Like she's pulling it out of the refrigerator, throwing food all over the kitchen.
Okay.
And her husband comes down as well. And Nina tells him that Millie has misplaced her PTA meeting notes. She's like, "Andrew, help. Millie is purposely misplacing my notes like she's trying to sabotage me." And Millie is 99.9% sure that she did not touch those notes. But she ends up like apologizing just to smooth things over. She's like, "I must have when I was cleaning. Sure. I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
Again, still don't know why you're like throwing food all over the kitchen as a reaction to this. So then Nina tells Millie to clean up the mess that Millie made. She's like, "Clean up this mess you made." And then like goes back up the stairs.
Okay. All right.
So like that's the vibe of Nina.
Nina's a psychopath.
That's what we're in for. But Millie's mindset is like, "Look, I can handle this. I've handled worse in prison.
Sure.
Like, I'll deal with a Nina Winchester." So Millie desperately needs her job because there ain't no way I personally would be putting up with this.
Absolutely not. But she's in a tough spot.
Yes.
So it is what it is.
And then the author repeatedly emphasizes how much Millie needs this job a lot.
Yeah.
Without it, she would be homeless and in violation of her probation. That's another aspect of this. Apparently, for her probation, she has to be like currently working and I think able to prove that like she's housed somewhere and can receive communications. So
are y'all gonna help me with those things?
There's no like social services to
help
me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Got it.
You just get punishment.
Yep. Awesome.
She never reported to her probation officer that she was actually fired from her last job. And so you find out she actually did have a job right after prison in between getting like prison and Nina.
Okay.
And she was fired from it and she did not tell her probation officer that.
Okay.
She didn't want them to find out why she got fired. And again, we also don't know why Millie got fired.
All right.
We don't know why she was in jail. We don't know why she got fired. But apparently it's reasons she'd like to keep private.
Okay.
At this point, we also don't know why she was fired nor why she was in jail. But we start getting hints that something is like underlying in Millie's personality. They start giving you hints that like Millie's like trying to keep something under control, something under wraps.
Oh.
Millie waited until the family was asleep and she goes like downstairs to the main living room to start watching Family Feud. She's like bored. She comes down from like her attic crypt and is like, she waits for everyone to like not be around. She's like, okay, I'm going to watch some TV.
Okay.
Which I think is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
What I don't think is like the best aspect of this is that she comes down in shorts, no bra, and a tank top.
Yeah, that's a little comfortable.
And like, and I'm not one of those people who's like, you need to watch how you're dressing around certain people. It's just one of those things where there is a professional boundary here. Like she's not a family member.
Right. It's very different. And like, it's that weird line because like, yeah, you live here, but also you're also kind of a stranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrew comes downstairs
Oh,
to
Lord.
join her. He's like, oh, you're up? Like, I'm bored too. Like, what are you doing watching Family Feud? And he joins her in nothing but his boxers.
No, we're not doing this.
I'll tell you one thing.
We're not doing this.
It couldn't be me and my man.
No.
That's all I know.
No.
Because
no.
that sounds actually absurd.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. Y'all are ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Extremely casual.
Mm-hmm.
Millie immediately like feels uncomfortable, and she knows that like Nina wouldn't like this.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And personally, I also wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care about them like watching TV, but like just this whole like clad in our underwear situation.
Yeah, that's very weird.
Andrew and Millie spend some time together watching Family Feud.
No.
They're like laughing and bonding. During conversation, Millie finds out that Cece is not actually allergic to peanut butter. Because they start talking, and you know, Millie's like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I had that incident the other day where I accidentally gave her peanut butter. She's deathly allergic." And Andrew's like, "What? She's not allergic to peanut butter." He's like, "Who told you she was allergic to peanut butter?" Yeah. Again, this book had me rolling. I was like, "What do you mean she's not allergic to peanut butter?" The way Cece like stomped up the stairs, then got her mother, was like, "You're trying to kill me."
Wow. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree because Cece's crazy too. Okay.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this must mean that Nina and Cece must have been playing some like weird mind game on Millie when they made like a huge fuss about it before. Like, I'm like, is this an act, a little skit you two put on, like with new people? Right on cue, as you would expect, Nina finds them downstairs. She comes downstairs probably wearing like her luxurious robe, arms crossed, like, well.
Feathers on the bottom.
Yeah. Honestly, goals. That's the I low-key murdered my husband robe.
100%.
And you have to look forlornly over a balcony.
Yep.
So Nina finds him downstairs, and she tells Millie to get her own TV in the attic, and tells her to wear proper attire around the house, which I also think is like a bit much for her to say it like that. But Millie was wearing like, she's a little scantily clad.
Yeah. That's very uncomfortable for everyone involved.
Yeah. However, since Nina has shown multiple signs of not wanting Millie to look attractive, Millie kind of should have like anticipated this, I feel.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not trying to say like, oh, you need to dress a certain way to not entice somebody. Yeah. It's just you're trying to like lay low in this house, and you're already catching the vibe that there's like all these different.
There's some tensions.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So
and she's trying to hang on to this like good job situation.
Exactly. So I feel like she should have known that this would have like antagonized Nina a little bit.
Yeah, and also it's very weird for the husband to just like come out in his undies. And she just like chills.
Yeah, that also is kind of wild to me. Like, because like Andrew knows that even if Millie was not downstairs, you could run into this stranger in your home. She lives there now.
She lives there, and also you're the employer, and that power dynamic.
Exactly, seeing your employer in their underwear.
Yeah, that's weird.
Much. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, once Nina and Andrew head back upstairs, Millie picks up a glass, throws it to the ground, and it shatters everywhere. And that's one of our first major indicators that Millie might have like some anger issues brewing.
Mm-hmm. So there's like sent her to prison, man.
Something did. And so that lets you know that like we're dealing with different types of personalities in this book.
There's 2 different kinds of crazy. Okay. Heard.
So Nina shows an ounce of kindness to Millie at one point in the book by giving her a bunch of her old clothes. She like pulls out a bag. She's like, I think these are all your size. Okay. These are nice clothes. Yeah. She mentions how she won't be fitting back into them anytime soon because she and Andrew are trying to have a baby.
Oh, a little baby.
Yeah. This topic comes up again later when Nina hosts a PTA meeting in her backyard. So she has all the ladies from the PTA in her backyard, and they're being like bougie, mean ladies. Sure. And she forces Millie to like stand near them like as a butler while they're having their meeting so that she can be at her beck and call. Like she's supposed to just stand there in case Nina needs literally anything or her friends need anything.
Yes, okay.
Nina tells the ladies how she's trying to have a baby and how she has an appointment at a fertility clinic. And when Nina gets up to like use the restroom away from the ladies, Millie, who is still standing there, here's the ladies basically like bad mouthing Nina about being plus size and how she's not going to be able to keep her attractive husband.
Oh my gosh. And plus size in this book, I feel like is like a size 10.
Right? Plus size is probably just like an average person.
Yeah, just a regular human.
It's also very interesting to me, though, how these ladies basically don't view Millie as a person because she's standing right there.
Yeah, no, she's the help.
Yeah,
yeah,
with no regard for her, they just start like bad mouthing Nina in front of her.
Yeah,
and the ladies also bring up how they don't think Nina's going to be able to keep Andrew around, especially since Cece is not his biological daughter. You saw that coming?
I had a thought. Okay, so my theory was that Nina is the one with the money. And also that she can't, I don't know why I thought that's not his kid, but it was a fleeting thought in my mind.
Interesting. Yeah. So I didn't call that, but I had a similar feeling. I was like, there has to be an interesting power dynamic going on here. Because they're showing Nina with very erratic behavior, and they're showing Andrew, who apparently is very attractive, really chill person. Chill. So I'm just like, why is he in this relationship? Yeah. So,
okay.
It made me also think about the power dynamic between Nina and Andrew, and if something more was going on there.
Yeah.
So she hears Millie overhears the ladies.
So what made me think that it's like not his kid is like the peanut butter thing, because I feel like she's very tight with the daughter, and then he's kind of like on the outside, and he's like, why are they doing this weird thing?
That's a good point.
So that's what made me think like, what's happening here? Okay,
good picking up on that. But yeah, so apparently Cece's not his biological daughter. But he married Nina when Cece was a baby, and he raises her as his own. So like from Cece's perspective, like
she doesn't know.
That is her father.
Okay.
But he never officially adopted her like legally.
Got it.
Millie also finds out Nina and Andrew have a prenup, so she wouldn't get anything if they divorce.
So she doesn't have the money.
That's not
weird. Okay.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder what Nina has on Andrew, because I switched from money thinking to like maybe there's like a secret she's lording over him or something.
Yeah.
That keeps him in the relationship.
Okay.
Like I started like speculating.
Yeah, because like, Nina's fucking crazy.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I'm like, what's in it for Andrew?
Because apparently he can leave her.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's worried about her taking his money or something. Right. So what is going on? Andrew so far has been very nice, and Nina has been very erratic. So again, like, what is keeping them together?
What if he's the one driving her crazy somehow?
Ooh, interesting. Like, don't know if you guys know this, but the term gaslighting.
Yes, exactly.
It comes from a movie where a husband is slowly driving his wife insane by
a literal gaslight.
Yeah, he's like lowering them every day, and she's like, "Is it getting dimmer in here?" And he's like, "No.
You're crazy."
Yeah. I'm gonna get you committed. Yes. Like it's always been this level of brightness.
Yeah. So maybe he's not Mr. Chill Guy. Maybe he's the bad guy.
I don't know.
Okay.
Later, Nina comes home from the fertility clinic and she's crying. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
It apparently did not go well, and Nina will not be able to have a baby. Later that evening, Millie hears Andrew and Nina like arguing in their bedroom over her infertility, and Nina is accusing him of wanting a younger woman while he's trying to like console her. Like she's like, "You don't love me," and he's like, "I do love you. It's okay. We'll get through this.
We'll figure this out."
And she's just like throwing a tantrum in the room.
Okay.
Nina rips the master bedroom door open like angrily, and then she finds Millie standing there eavesdropping.
That's awkward.
Yes, I was like, Millie, like you can't do it that obvious. You gotta like pretend like you're walking by or something.
Like, I was getting some
milk.
Okay.
Millie had come downstairs due to the commotion, so that's like why she's standing there. Nina has like blood coming from her hand.
Oh,
and it's running down the side of her nightgown. She dismisses Millie and tells her to never come out of the attic at night again.
Okay.
Like Nina's like, mind your business and stay up in
there.
What,
are you gonna lock me in the attic?
I don't know. There is a lock on the outside.
Yeah. Okay.
But as she's bleeding and saying this to Millie, there's amusement in her eyes. Almost like she enjoyed scaring Millie in that moment. There's a bit of like, oh, does this like frighten you sort of thing? You're not used to domestic disputes. Like she's
oh my God.
It's almost very taunting.
Okay.
Millie attempts, fast forward a little bit. Millie's been in prison for a minute, okay?
Yes.
It's been a minute since she's been with a man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she gets it in her head. She's like, I'm not out and about. It's hard for me to find prospects. But you know who does hang around here a lot?
That gardener.
The hot gardener.
All right.
So she attempts to like seduce Enzo.
Okay.
But there's like a language barrier, obviously.
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult.
They can speak the language of their bodies.
And again, they don't really, the author doesn't say too much about like whether Millie is conventionally attractive or not.
Sure.
But I'm just assuming that she's like generally thin. And like when she cleans herself up, like she could
cleans
probably,
up nice.
Yeah, she cleans up nice.
Okay.
She asks him if he wants to take a break. She's trying to like seduce him while speaking like in simple English. So she's like, you want to like take a break? And she like strokes his chest.
I'm just like,
yeah. And at that, he jumps back and screams at her in Italian. Like, we don't know what he's saying, but it's like he's going off in Italian.
Okay.
And then he reiterates to her that she needs to get out of this house because it is dangerous.
Okay, so we're gonna pull out the Translate app, and you're gonna tell me why.
Exactly. I need more details. Where are you going? Get back over here. Tell me more. That's me.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
From Millie's perspective, she's like, "What does that have to do with what I was asking you about?" Yeah. It's been so long. All right, so we fast forward a little bit more, and Millie is picking up Cecilia from dance class when she runs into another housemaid.
Okay.
She, they're catching up. They're like, being a housemaid for rich people, right?
Yeah.
They get to chatting, and Millie finds out from this other housemaid that Nina was institutionalized for trying to drown Cecilia and kill herself.
Okay.
Yes. So apparently that happened like a few years ago or so. And it was a big like drama thing that all of the moms know about. Like, oh yeah, Nina was institutionalized for that thing,
And this child is still in her care. Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. Got it.
Later on, Andrew receives a package from his mom, and it's full of like a whole bunch of baby stuff. Because his mom knew that they were trying to conceive, so she thought it would be nice to be like, oh, here's all your old baby stuff. You guys might like use this.
Maybe wait on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It makes him super sad. Yeah. So, he's like having a vulnerable moment, and Millie places her hand on his hand to comfort him.
You need to stop.
And then they exchange a long, lingering look.
Oh my God, of course they do.
Mm-hmm. At this point, I'm just like, come on now, Millie.
Yeah.
Come on now.
She's doing dirty now.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And
you don't need to do this.
She's a little hot in the pants right now because, again, it's been a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Nina goes away to take Cecilia to overnight camp. So that's the next chunk of the book.
Okay.
She's like, I need to go take Cece to camp. And Andrew has these tickets to a Broadway show. He and Nina were supposed to go, but Nina blamed Millie for like booking the wrong dates, even though she didn't. So like it happened like this. Andrew came to Millie and he was like, hey, I want to do something romantic for Nina. She's been wanting to go to this Broadway show. Can you like tell me her calendar? Because you're like her secretary, so that I can book it on the right day.
Okay.
And so Millie consults with Nina and is like, hey, Andrew wants to book this thing for you as a surprise. Does this date work? And Nina's like, yeah, that works. Great. He's so romantic. He loved me real bad. So then Millie books it. But then after she books it, Nina's like, that's the night I'm supposed to take Cece to overnight camp. You knew this, Millie, and you did this on purpose.
Girl, okay.
Yes. So Nina isn't able to go to the Broadway show because she has to herself take Cece to the overnight camp.
Yeah, it can't possibly be the nanny, live-in nanny.
And that's what Andrew brings up. He's like, can't Millie go drop her off?
Right.
And then Nina gets really offended. She's like, you think I wouldn't take my own daughter to camp? I'm a good mother. And so she's going.
Is up for debate, but okay.
Andrew gives the tickets to Millie. He's like, well, since she can't make it, do you want to come to this Broadway show? And they do this without Nina's knowledge, of course. Nina's away for the weekend taking Cece to camp.
Okay.
And Millie says she doesn't have anyone to go with. Because at first he just gives her both tickets. She's like, I don't have anybody to go with.
I don't have any friends.
Yeah.
Lovers.
Yeah. So Andrew says he'll take her. He's like, well, I guess I'll go with you, shawty. Like, since you ain't got nobody else.
Okay. There's no way this could go wrong at all.
So Millie needs to get up all, like dressed up all fancy for this Broadway show, and like luckily Nina gave her this bag of really fancy nice clothes.
Amazing.
Yes. So she puts on one of the fancy dresses that Nina gave her, and this is a real excerpt of Millie coming downstairs and Andrew seeing her. This is a quote from the book.
Oh boy.
He says, "Jesus, Millie." His hand is shaking a bit as he adjusts his tie. "You look ... He doesn't complete his thought, which is probably a good thing, because he's not looking at me in a way you're supposed to be looking at a woman who is not your wife. I open my mouth, wondering if I should ask him if this is a bad idea, if maybe we should call off the whole thing, but I can't make myself say that."
Girl, yes, you can.
For me, personally, this is already a breach of boundaries.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So much. I'm a theater girly, okay? And if my husband was off gallivanting, taking another woman out to the theater behind my back, like there's like secret Hamilton
we got
tickets,
some problems.
and he like takes her off to the theater.
Oh no. That's the grounds for divorce immediately.
Absolutely not.
Immediately.
My husband would never.
Of course.
Your husband would never.
Of course not. But wow. Okay.
Granted, Nina sucks and is mean.
Sure.
But
you
Andrew
can leave her.
is the one who's committed to her. Exactly. Yeah. He could leave her if he wanted to. So this is what you signed up for, Mr.
Exactly.
Andrew. Not long, lingering looks with the housemaid.
No, we're not doing this.
And again, just his dialogue in the, "Jesus, Millie, you look..." Like that already, you're doing the most.
Yeah,
you're doing too much. That's more than just like giving a compliment to your platonic friend.
You look nice
even
today.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty dress.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, he's like adjusting his tie and sweating. Like, sir, get it together. How old are you? So they go to the theater and they have an amazing time. And Andrew's eyes start to linger on how short Millie's dress is. Like, there's moments where he's like driving and Millie notices him like looking over.
And so she's like,
"Oh my gosh, look at this thigh conveniently right here.
I'm so hot in this car."
Sorry, I don't know. And then they bring up, Millie brings up how like when she's standing, the dress isn't that short, but when she sits, it's just so high, she can't help it. So much thigh is out.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
After the theater, they go to like a dinner at a fancy French restaurant.
See,
and that's too much to me too. Like, y'all could have gone to Burger King, right? But why is he taking you out to the fancy French restaurant?
Y'all could have picked something up on the way home.
This is like a date now.
Yeah, this is literally a date. Yes.
And Andrew drinks a lot of wine on this outing.
How is he going to drive you home now?
Right? Great question.
Okay.
While he drinks the wine, he divulges that he and Nina haven't had sex since the bad news about the fertility clinic, which again to me is like you're sharing too much about your marriage.
Why does your housemaid need to know that?
Then Andrew is too drunk to drive them home.
Of course he is.
Because that's what happened. Like, again, I'm like, how old are you, Andrew? This is very irresponsible of you.
Yes.
He's too drunk to drive them home. And this is where he really lost me. He suggests to Millie that they check into the Plaza Hotel together. And they can share a suite that has 2 beds. He's like, "Don't worry. It'll have 2 beds. Like, it'll be chill. It'll be chill." I'm like, "Sir.
No, y'all are rich. You can get me my own room."
Exactly. But, like, also, even if he had gotten separate rooms, me as the wife, you tell me about this incident later, and I'm so upset with you because you acted so irresponsibly.
Right, yeah. This is all heavily on you.
Like, you put yourself in this position.
Absolutely.
So he suggests to her that they check into the Plaza Hotel, get 1 suite, 2 beds.
No.
Millie says no. She's like, I don't
okay,
think
good
Nina
for
would
Millie.
like that. Like, no. So then he suggests that they get 2 separate rooms. But then, and Millie's like, "Okay, fine, we'll do that because you're like too drunk.
Right.
What else are we gonna do?"
Right.
She doesn't have a license.
Drive. Okay.
Yeah, it was like because of the jail thing.
Right.
I guess she doesn't have a driver's license yet.
Okay.
So she's like, "Fine, we'll get 2 separate rooms."
But didn't she have to go pick up the child?
She did. So wait, she does have a driver's license then.
Okay.
Maybe he doesn't want her driving his Rolls Royce or something.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe that's what it is.
Okay.
But during their taxi ride to the hotel, the cab makes like this sharp turn and Millie accidentally leans into Andrew and then they lock eyes.
Girl.
No. She's like thrown into his lap across the taxi because of this sharp turn.
See, she should have sat in the front. Okay.
Honestly. Then they lock eyes and then they start making out. And from there, everything spiraled. At that point, they're like, "We're not doing the separate room thing." They get a room together that night and they have sex.
Of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course they do. All right.
And in the morning, this scoundrel, he has the nerve to be like this. This is an excerpt from the book. He says, "I'm not sorry," he says. "I had a great time with you last night, and I'm not sorry for any part of it, and I hope you're not either." I venture a look at him. He is still in bed, the covers up to his waist, revealing his bare, muscular chest. "No, I'm not sorry at all. But," he heaves a sigh, "it can't happen again. You know that, right?" I nod. "Yes, I understand." A troubled expression comes over his face. He runs a hand through his dark hair to smooth it out. "I wish things could be different."
Oh, they can, Andrew.
"I wish I'd met you back when... ...
Okay.
Like, I get that you're unhappy in your marriage, but you need to be an adult and either divorce your wife or like work through it.
Or figure it out.
But acting like you're like a victim in this when you have autonomy over your actions is actually wild.
Yeah, and we found out that he's the one with the money anyway.
Exactly.
So like there's literally no reason for this.
And Millie's no better. She's been in like Delulu land being a pick-me in her fantasies with Andrew the whole book. However, Millie's not the one who entered into like a monogamous relationship with Nina.
Very true.
Which is why I'm harder on Andrew in this situation.
No, that's literally his fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
They keep this adultery a secret from Nina, obviously.
Of course they do, yeah.
But during dinner, when Nina's back from her little trip, Nina suddenly asks Millie what prison food was like. Like in the middle of dinner, she's like, "Hey, Millie, what was prison food like?" Just like that abruptly.
That's weird. All right.
Revealing to Millie that Nina knows that she was in prison.
Oh, shit.
Like, we didn't know at this point whether or not Nina did her background check. Yes. We didn't know if Nina...
Right.
But
I just assumed no because,
Right, because you hired her. Right. But she whips this information out abruptly at dinner, and it's just like, yeah, Millie, how was prison food?
Wow.
So it reveals to Millie that Nina knows, which causes Andrew to have like a very shocked expression. He's like, "Millie, you were in prison?" Because he didn't know either.
Got it.
And this embarrasses Millie. So she answers Nina's questions and she heads up to her room, like embarrassed.
Sure.
Where she finds the playbill for the show that she went to. She finds it out, even though she's absolutely sure that she had left it in her purse. But when she goes up to her room, it's now like on the desk.
I mean, Nina knew that they went to the play.
No. Well, we're finding out now she knew. But at the time, Andrew and Millie were keeping that part a secret too. Like he like asked Millie to go with him.
Okay.
Or was going to give her the tickets. And she was like, "I can't go by myself." They weren't planning on telling Nina about that at all.
I just assumed that she knew they were going. Just not everything that happened. Okay.
Nope.
All right.
So then this leads Millie to assume that Nina has been in her room.
Yeah.
Found the playbill. Likely put together the pieces about her and Andrew spending the night in the city. Nina also mentioned earlier how she called the house at 11 p.m. and no one answered.
Well,
like,
there you go.
Like, "Where were you guys?" Like, I called and nobody answered.
That's so weird.
Crazy.
That's wild.
What happened?
Doing?
Okay. So, like, Nina definitely has enough puzzle pieces to figure out that they had sex.
Yeah, I mean, y'all kind of have not been hiding that the whole book.
At all.
But okay.
From here, Nina's psychological torture of Millie escalates.
Wow.
She starts doing all sorts of extra things now.
Wow.
So one thing, she sends Millie on an elaborate scavenger hunt in the grocery store. She's like, "I need you to get this," and it's like something that doesn't exist. Like, I need
pickled quail eggs.
Yeah, like just like nonsense. And then Millie is like apprehended by security in the grocery store for suspicion of stealing. And the security guard's like, "Yes, someone called in with a tip that a person matching your description would be stealing." So
I don't think that's how this works.
Yeah,
but okay.
I've never called a grocery store like someone wearing a pink top is gonna be there. Like,
and they have cameras, like they can look.
Yeah. Well, luckily they do, and they verify that she wasn't stealing, then they let her go. But like it feels pretty obvious that Nina is like doing this on purpose. However, Millie clearly doesn't fear Nina that much.
Yeah.
Because she sees Andrew hanging out on the porch late at night one night, and then she joins him. And I'm like, again, it feels like you're antagonizing her.
Yeah.
You just had an affair with this man, and you're like still finding reasons.
His wife knows. And, like, she knows.
So she joins him when he's like hanging out on the porch late at night, and then their lips accidentally fall on each other again.
Crazy how that happens sometimes.
This time there's no taxi ride to like throw them into each other. It just
happens.
You know how you naturally do that.
Yeah. With people who aren't your wife.
Then when Millie sneaks back upstairs after that encounter, she bumps into Nina, who definitely seems suspicious, but we're unclear on whether or not Nina saw them.
Okay.
But she bumps into Nina on the way up the stairs, and it's
Yep.
just like, hey, how long have you been hanging around here?
Yep.
So this next part happens kind of quickly, and it's a little abrupt.
Okay.
So Nina accused Millie of stealing her clothes. You know, the clothes that Nina gave to Millie earlier in the book.
Okay.
And Millie starts crying and denying it.
Okay.
But Nina's like, you stole my clothes, you thief. And she's like, you literally gave me this bag of clothes. Then Andrew...
Granted, I did fuck your husband. But
Then Andrew comes down the stairs and he defends Millie. He's like, Nina, like, you're acting crazy. Like, you know that you gave her that bag of clothes. You even told me you were going to give her the bag of clothes.
Right.
Like, come on, chill.
Okay.
And he tells Nina in front of Millie, he's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I want either a separation or a divorce.
Don't involve me in this. I guess Millie involved herself. But y'all don't have to do this in front of me.
Right? I'm like, ooh, awkward.
Okay.
And Nina's like, wow, you're gonna believe the maid over me? You're gonna believe the maid? She's like crying,
Yeah.
Millie's crying, all the women are crying. And he's like, Nina, you're bonkers, and you're not the woman I fell in love with. I want you to leave now. He says that to her. I want you to leave now.
Okay.
Nina gets upset, but she goes upstairs to pack. She's like, fine, you want me gone? I'm gonna go.
Okay,
She starts
I'll
packing
go.
clothes. Millie asks Nina if she needs help packing. Which I'm just like, girl, that's low-key kind of shady.
That is shady.
She's like, Nina, do you want me to find your suitcase? Or you want me to get the underwear?
I can get you out of this house.
Yeah. What do you need?
Then it can just be me and your husband.
And Nina leaves like really dramatically. It's like pouring rain outside, and she like drags her stuff out. She's like, I'm being kicked
Where's
out
the
of
kid
my
though?
house. I can't remember if Cece's at camp. Cece's still at camp at this point. Yeah, it's like away camp.
Okay.
Yeah, she's still at camp.
All right.
And on the way out, Nina tells Millie, she's like, you're gonna rue the day. Like, you had made an actual enemy of me.
Yeah, I feel like that's fair.
And Millie's like standing in the doorway, like, do you need help? Do you need help with your bags?
Because I'm gonna go wear your clothes and fuck your husband more.
Mm-hmm. Literally immediately after Nina drives off, Andrew puts his arm around Millie and they make out and have sex in the guest bedroom.
Oh, y'all are crazy.
Like, literally, they see her car drive off and he's like, so back to let's get to what has been brewing here. And Millie's down because, again, she was
like, bye, Nina.
Yes.
Bye.
Yes. So they go to the guest bedroom and they have like hot, steamy sex.
Sure.
The next day, Millie starts getting phone calls from blocked numbers, which she at first ignores. Andrew fires Enzo, which is very odd because up to this point, you've only seen Andrew in very like nice situations. Yeah. He's like nice to people. But his interactions with Enzo are actually very like, have a lot of animosity.
Okay, so
he's like, we don't need you. Is this
revenge? Anymore. Was he sleeping with Nina? And that's okay.
We're not sure, right. But like, basically, Andrew comes home and he's like, you know what? We never actually needed this gardener. The only reason Nina hired him is because everybody else on the block hired Enzo, and she didn't want to be like left out.
Sure.
We actually don't need you, Enzo. If you could just like go.
Okay.
But before Enzo leaves, he tells Millie in perfect English.
Stop it.
In perfect English, he tells Millie that she is in danger and needs to get out.
Okay, but you could have been doing this.
You could have been doing this. No more this petticolo, none of that. You could have just like laid it out here.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Millie kind of brushes this off, and she's like, look, I'm living the life of my dreams now, and I'm going to go grocery shopping. To cook for my man.
Yeah, let me know how that works out for you, Millie.
So she goes to the grocery store and she runs into one of Nina's friends who tells her that Nina put a secret location tracking app on Millie's phone. Yeah. So she like runs into one of Nina's friends and the friend is like, yeah, she probably knows you're here. And Millie's like, what do you mean? And she's like, you don't know? Oh yeah, she tracks all her maids. Yeah. The phone, that's the phone she gave you, right? Yeah, no, she's 100. And I feel like Millie should have thought about that beforehand.
Yeah.
Because the phone was given to her by Nina.
Right. You got a rich man now. He can get you a new one.
Right. So Millie checks her phone and sure enough there's a tracking app on there, and so she like deletes the app, and
I feel like that doesn't
I still wouldn't trust it. I need a new phone. I need a new phone. I don't trust it. I don't know how it all works. I don't trust it.
Yeah. Okay.
So and she also finally answers one of the phone calls from the blocked number, because remember she's been getting phone calls ever since Nina left,
and which is obviously Nina.
Is it? I don't
Okay.
know. And it's a mysterious, like, robot voice. So obviously someone's using like some sort of voice modulator or something. And it's a robot voice telling her to leave Andrew alone.
Gee, I wonder who that could be from.
Who would have motivation for that to happen?
Weird.
She gets home and she's like, you know what? Not only am I taking your man, but I'm moving into the master bedroom now. Keep in mind, Nina left like less than 48 hours ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, Andrew and I had sex in the guest bedroom last night. It was a little hard on my back. I think that the master bedroom is where it's at.
That's where I belong.
So she goes up to the attic to gather her things so that she can bring them to the master bedroom.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm.
But Andrew gets home and he like interrupts her. He's like, "What you doing?"
Yeah, I was gonna say, does Andrew know about this plan?
No, not at all. He's like, "What are you doing?" Mm-hmm. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm moving my stuff to the master bedroom." And he's like, "Well, before you finish doing that, what if we had some more sex?"
In this creepy attic?
Yep. They have sex again in the attic. Okay. And it's such rambunctious sex that they both like pass out.
Oh.
They just laid out. And she's like, oh my gosh.
I'm sure that's going to end well for them.
When Millie wakes up, she discovers that like she's in the attic alone. Like Andrew's not there.
Okay.
And the door is locked from the outside.
Oh, weird.
Remember that lock we discussed
from the
before?
Outside.
It's locked.
Yeah.
And
Andrew was up to something. I'm just gonna say, Andrew is on some shady shit. This is giving plot. This is giving plan. I come across you in the attic, and I just have to have you now.
I don't know. That's the end of part 1 of the book. This book is divided into 2 parts.
Oh, okay.
That's part 1.
Okay.
And so the next part is part 2 of the book, but that's where things get really bonkers.
Okay.
The part 2 of the book is from Nina's perspective. And it's divided up into steps. So now is the time, like if you personally want to go read part 2 for yourself to see how the rest plays out, now's the time to pause and like come back to our video if you want.
Okay.
I'm seeing now that we have 3 minutes left for this hour episode. So maybe I should end it here and part 2 be a separate video.
I think maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah, this is a good place for us to wrap up part 1 of The Housemaid by Frieda McFadden. I didn't know that it would take so long to get to part 1, but there's a lot going on. There's a lot of like psychological
I thought this was going to
things.
be like the climax.
Right? Didn't you?
Because the beginning, the prologue was like, oh, they're going to arrest me if they find something upstairs. Right?
Right? Yeah. So whose perspective was that from, though?
Okay. All right. I thought we were coming up on the climax, but wow, this is part 1. Okay.
Yeah. Part 2 is from Nina's perspective. So tune in for our next episode.
Yeah.
And we will have part 2 ready for you.
Okay.
Yeah. We have been hotties with the plotties.
Yes. This was so much fun. I can't wait to join for part 2.
Look forward to seeing you.
Yes. Thanks, y'all. You've reached the voicemail of Tasha
and Aniqua.
We can't come to the phone right now.
But if you like, comment, subscribe, and click another episode,
we'll be with you shortly.